All right, we are live from the field, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Alabama wins 27-24. What a remarkable win for the Crimson Tide. Now,
Wow.
about a 5.5, 6-point underdog. So, you know, the odds makers thought this would be a better game maybe than some did, but this was a game Alabama dominated for a lot of the football game.
They did, and I'll tell you, talking with the players afterwards, like Roy Dale Williams, one thing I asked him, I said, how important was it for you guys to stay aggressive offensively,
Right.
when they kept cutting it to 3, 20-17 and 20, whatever.
Yeah.
Every time they would cut into the lead, Alabama stayed aggressive offensively with their play calling, still throwing the ball, still keeping the foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And he said that was the mindset. The coaches had told them that's the way they were going to attack it and play the game from the get-go. So they stayed true to that. Sometimes you say you're going to be aggressive and stay hard at it, and then you back off as it gets a little tight in the game. They didn't do that today. They put it in Milroe's hand, and it paid big dividends.
Yeah, especially at the end when you've got the ball and you've got a chance to burn the clock out and force Georgia to use up all their timeouts. You go right to Jalen Milroe. You put it in his hands.
That's
that
right.
touchdown drive that was eventually the score that gave Alabama the win. You put that in Jalen Milroe's hands. I mean, when the game was on the line and things got tight, that's who they looked to.
Yeah, and it wasn't, as I was saying, it wasn't like, let's milk the clock and see what happens on the drive. It's like, boom, boom, let's
That's
go
right.
get it.
Yeah.
And that's what they did from the get-go. I think every Alabama fan thought that first drive from Georgia when they marched it down, put it in the end zone 7-0, you were like, ooh, and I even tweeted this out. That's slow start Georgia. Didn't come today.
Slow finish Georgia did, though.
Slow finish Georgia did, too. But I think we talked about the defensive minds that were in this game.
Yeah.
And listen to me when I say this. I thought Smart and Muschamp and Schumann did a wonderful job on one side. But the other side, T-Rob and Kevin Steele and Nick Saban, I thought they were masterful in taking Bowers out of the game, really confusing Beck. And, McConkey was not really a big factor today, had one big catch down on the goal line. So I thought they did a wonderful job with that. And on the flip side of that, if you're a Georgia fan after 29 straight wins, I think there'll be a lot of complaining about how aggressive or not aggressive Mike Bobo was.
Well, I thought he got a little too cute. So there were two plays that jump out at me. There was a 3rd and short, I want to say it was in the second quarter, where they, instead of just your standard on 3rd and 1 run play, they kind of run a little pitch. They try to string it out wide, and Alabama's able to stop them. And then there was the little reverse situation. We're laughing at EG right now. She's chasing around stories on the field. There was when they ran the reverse, that was the fumble that gave Alabama ultimately the winning margin of 3 points. I just thought Mike Bobo got a little cute at times when he didn't really have to.
Absolutely, especially on that one particular play you're talking about, where instead of just running it right up the middle, that they ended up pitching it outside. That's just that's stupid football. When you've got a team that is as powerful as Georgia has been, you just lay into them, right? You pick up a yard. If you can't pick up a yard in 2 plays, if you're Georgia, you're probably not doing something right there.
Yeah, I would say, too, I think you saw a little bit of a team that was playing with the weight of that winning streak. And I know it's easy to say, you don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. We just play game. It's hard to win that many games in a row. It's why nobody's ever done it, Jim.
Yeah.
And I mean, at some point, you're going to run up against a team that's either a better team or better on that day. And Alabama might be both of those. I don't know. They were better today. Are they the better overall team? I don't know, but you don't have to be. You only have to be one day.
I wish I had a red light. I wish, Forrester could flash a red light when I'm going to say something smart.
It's kind of flashing behind us. You can do that.
So this is smart comment. Okay. Again, I think it's my second smart comment of the show here.
Well, we're 4 minutes in, so that's pretty impressive.
I'm going to say this. I think that in this game, and we had the players tell us about how all these people on the field today were recruited by both schools. For many of them, they came down to choosing between Georgia and Alabama. So I think they all went on visits together. They were in camps together. I think each of them knew about the talent on the other sideline, right?
Right.
And I think when you're Georgia at that point, they knew today was going to be a different game than a lot of their 29-game win streak, right?
Right.
They knew what was on the other sideline. So as that game got a little deeper, they're like, okay, now we've got to close a 10-point gap against this talent. We know our backs is against the wall, and I think that's when the pressure really started to kick in. But they never really melted.
Who, Georgia?
Georgia. They never melted.
Yeah, not melted, but they were. I don't think melted is the word I would use, but it felt like they were out of their element.
Yeah.
They never were comfortable.
Yeah.
I think after that first drive, which that first drive was really impressive. They go right down the field, and I thought, like you said, slow start Georgia didn't show up, and I thought really good Georgia did show up.
Yeah, but tell me big plays that Brock Bowers made after
None.
that first drive.
None.
Right? So
I think in the first half, 2 catches, 20 yards in the first half.
Yeah, and one of those was a 23-yard catch,
That's
and then
right.
the second one was a 3-yard loss.
That's right.
So they make the adjustment on Bowers. So what is that? That's the Carson Beck security
right.
blanket.
Yep.
So now his security blanket is taken away.
Yeah.
So now he's got to go to the other guys. Well, McConkey wasn't getting open either. That's security blanket number 2.
That's right.
So now he's got to go to other guys. Now what's happening?
Yeah.
Now you've got Turner and Braswell closing in on him, hitting him, sacking him. There were a couple of passes he got off that they knocked him to the ground.
Yeah.
And I thought that was huge all day long. That accumulates throughout the course of a game. And I thought that stacked up on Carson Beck as he went on.
Yeah, let's remind you about our sponsors that have brought you the coverage from here in Atlanta. You see them at the bottom of the screen. And see Dunaway actually wearing the Rowback there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm backwards up here. The mirror is killing me. Rowback.com, promo code TNR20 gets you 20% off. Anything on the site there helps us out a lot too. So go there, rowback.com, use the promo code TNR20, get 20% off. Also, our friends at Wayne's have a pest-free 2024 and a pest-free holiday with our friends at Wayne's. Call Waynes.com, and you get $50 off your services there when you go to callwaynes.com. And then there's our friends at Southern Rubber Tire, southernrubbertire.com downtown, and they've been locally owned for over 50 years. All your big brand name tires and all your automotive needs. Fantastic people right there. That's our friends right there at southernrubbertire.com. Those are the 3 sponsors that are bringing us the show here, and always lanceslock.com as well.
So Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. It's wild how these 2 guys have been at the top of the college football world now for a very long time. Kirby is an assistant with Nick Saban, and then is the head coach of the 2-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Nick Saban has been at the top of the football world for a good 15 years now. But when these 2 have gone head to head, Nick Saban has owned this rivalry. It's kind of wild to see the way this rivalry between these 2, the student and the teacher, has played out. Saban has owned him.
Yeah, and I think what happens there, Brownie, is that, okay, you also factor in Will Muschamp, you also factor in Kevin Steele. So now, a lot of the brain power, you sort of know what the other person's going to do. So now, in order to be the smartest people in the room, you try, okay, Nick and them are going to think we're going to do this here, so we need to do this here.
Yeah.
And then you really get out of your element there.
That's right.
And I thought Alabama played more true to themselves than what Georgia did in situations like that tonight. But yeah, for Kirby Smart, the record don't lie. It's 1-5 now against Nick Saban, 1-5, and he's got equal talent, and some would say better talent at Georgia than Nick does right now. So it's that's a stat. 1 national championship apiece in 2 national championship games, but Nick has owned him here in Atlanta.
Well, he's owned Atlanta, period.
He's just owned Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, he has not lost a game here in Atlanta since the 2008 championship. I was trying to find the SEC championship in 2008. I was trying to find, Jim, the length of the Milroe run.
Which one? The 23-yard?
Right at the end of the game, is that what you're talking about?
I think it was about 23 yards where he slid out of bounds.
Yeah.
Or slid down and kept going out, but the clock was going to keep running anyway.
Yeah, when Alabama ran the clock out, first down and 10, 30-yard run.
30 yards. From
the 25 to the 45. And I just find a little irony in that, because when you look at Milroe's box score, it's nothing that is going to blow you away. 13 to 23, 192. He did have 2 touchdown passes. 14 carries, 29 yards. Had I told you 14 for 29, I know sack yardage comes out of that.
That's right, and those were huge. He had 3 large sacks.
That's right.
Double-digit sack yards.
Yeah. So when I told you, if I had told you 14 for 29, Georgia would have taken that without watching a piece of film.
Absolutely. But I literally think in game time he rushed for 60, maybe 70 yards.
Probably so.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, there is some irony in the fact that 30-yard run that really clinched the game, that forced Georgia to start using timeouts. It allowed Alabama to take the knee there. Just some irony that a mobile quarterback ends the game against Kirby Smart. It has always been the Achilles heel of both Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, an elite mobile quarterback.
Well, that was the wild card coming in. You put it in Jalen Milroe's hand, and who knew that better than Nick Saban, right?
Yeah.
He watched it happen for years when he and Kirby were together. Hey, by the way, it hurts Alabama too sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, Nick Saban struggled with it as much as anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to run into Jalen Milroe. Nick Saban doesn't want to run into a Jalen Milroe on the other side.
No, he does not.
Okay, so the elephant in the room, so to speak, is the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you're sticking by.
Well, aren't you? You've said the same thing. Okay.
I think the SEC champs in. It's more political for me.
All right.
I believe the SEC and I believe the Big Ten. They run the sport. They're the power brokers, and I think they're in. Kirby Smart said on the postgame. Kirby Smart himself said, "Listen, if they hold true to what they say all the time, if you're in that room and you don't think we're one of the 4 best teams in the country, then I don't know what to tell you.
So Kirby was saying that of Georgia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Kirby was saying about
Well,
Georgia.
I
So
mean,
he was still saying that Georgia belongs in.
Yeah.
And by the
it's
way,
going to be a narrow path.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But by the way, I don't disagree with that.
I think if you're asking for one of the 4 best teams in the country, is Georgia one of the 4 best teams in the country? Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's going to scream
Yeah.
if it happens. But if you really sit down and you say, okay, who are the 4 best teams in the country?
Yeah.
Just in the discussion is Michigan,
Yep.
is Washington,
Yep.
Alabama,
Yep.
Georgia, and Texas. Those are
Yep.
the 5 in discussion. Florida State without Jordan Travis is not in that
Well.
discussion. Now they're going to be unbeaten and a conference champion
Yep.
when it's all said and done tonight, and then the committee it could take the easy way out and put those 3
Yep.
unbeaten teams in Texas who beat Alabama.
Yeah.
But the reason we don't have computers and we got humans is because they're supposed to be smarter.
Yep.
And by the way, I don't know what the computers are going to say once the humans vote tomorrow, and then you have the BCS computer
Yep.
services come out. Alabama may be in the top 4 there.
Yeah, that's what, when I've talked to people about it here at the stadium, everyone's like, Alabama's not getting in front of Texas. Like, guys, I think Texas is in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Alabama's getting in front of Texas. I think Florida State is the transfer spot here.
That's right.
I think Alabama gets in front of Florida State. Now, it's going to not look that way because they'll probably, assuming Michigan, who's up 10-0 on Iowa, that should be enough points to win that game. Assuming Michigan wins, I bet they're going to go Michigan and Washington to get that one last Rose Bowl with it's the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, and then rematch Bama and Texas down in the Sugar. That would be my guess, is the way that would go. So it's going to look like Washington is the last 4 in, unless they just tomorrow say this is why we did it this way, which maybe they will be transparent about that. I don't know, but no, I don't think Texas is getting left out. I don't know why people keep saying that. I think Texas is in. I think it will be Florida State, and they may lose the game. They don't have a first down through the first quarter right now against Louisville. It's a scoreless tie going to the second quarter.
Yeah, but see, but that's in itself.
Even if you win.
Yeah, that in itself is saying you have no first downs through the first quarter. How bad is it going to look tonight for them, even if they win the game?
Yep.
And that opens the door for the committee to say, we left you open all the way into this. We watched this game and we watched that game. Remember the year, it was 2014. It was the first year of the playoffs. Ohio State wasn't in the playoffs. And it was the Big Ten championship game that night where they beat somebody like 60,000 to nothing.
It was Wisconsin, I believe, right? Yeah.
And they jumped over TCU and Baylor,
Yeah.
right? And got into the playoffs with their third string quarterback because they just beat somebody 60-something to nothing. They looked like a playoff team when the committee was sitting there together eating hors d'oeuvres in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, tonight they just watched this classic football game, right? Between a team that had won 29 straight games and 2 national championships, and Alabama beat them. And Alabama's only loss is to a quality Texas team who should be in the playoffs too. Right. And then you're going to watch Florida State in the ACC championship with a third string quarterback or a second string quarterback there. QB1's not coming back, and they're going to struggle. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're in that room and you're saying, well, they're unbeaten. Well, so is Liberty. Put Liberty in this discussion.
Again, Florida State's got 4 yards, and 0 first downs through 1 quarter of play. So it is obvious that they are missing Jordan Travis, and even in a win, the committee can take that into account. And again, that's why I think the discussion it's important to point out that even the committee says this. It's not the 4 most deserving, it's the 4 best. And all records are not created equal. Right. A 12-0 is not necessarily a better body of work than an 11-1. You got to look at the whole picture there. Yeah. Conference champion in the ACC is not necessarily equivalent to a conference champion in the SEC. You got to look at the whole conference in that discussion. So I think all those things will be considered, and it's why, unfortunately for Florida State, and I hate it for them, it's why I think they'll be on the outside looking in, even if they beat Louisville. If they lose to Louisville, it's academic at that point. But I hate it for them that it's Jordan Travis's injury that is going to cause that. But, bad luck happens.
Remember, Alabama only had the LSU loss in 2019.
Yeah.
Right? And Tua got hurt.
Against Mississippi State.
And instantly the committee and them started talking about, but this team's without Tua. Even if they
That's
go
right.
on and beat Auburn and they're a one-loss team against number 1 LSU or number 2 LSU, whatever they were not getting the same consideration going in because they didn't have Tua.
Yeah.
Right? And Mac wasn't Mac at the time, what he would be in 2020. So that happens. You take that into consideration. It'll be interesting to see. Now, will I be shocked if they I'll be shocked either way. If they put a Florida State in, and I'll be shocked if they leave an unbeaten Power 5 team out. Either way, I'm going to be surprised because they're going to do something they've never had to do before.
Yeah.
I guarantee you in that room right now, they won't say it, but if they,
Louisville
you will
fans.
not see the clip. They always show that boring, everybody
Yeah.
sitting there doing nothing clip.
Right.
Right down there, if Louisville takes the lead, there will be some cheering going on in that room, taking the pressure off of them.
I'm curious, do you feel like we're watching, and it's rare that you see this late in someone's career, Nick Saban's best work this year?
Man,
It's been a remarkable coaching job by the best that's ever done it, obviously.
What he did, and I asked this to the players, and you can get that on our video platforms on Twitter. Taylor's sending them out over on YouTube, just wherever you get our video platforms, you'll see this. But I asked the players, I said, after UCF, did you ever, be honest, at one point this season, did you even think that this was possible? And they all kept saying, no, we kept the dream alive with that one loss. We kept the dream alive. But I'm not sure a lot of the fans thought, we'd be standing here at the Benz with a confetti sign flowing down with the Alabama logo up here, and it's crimson and white, and it says SEC champions. It didn't feel like that leaving Tampa.
No, it didn't. Again, we said this the other day after the Iron Bowl, that it would be funny if you could go back, and you can, by the way, if you want to dig through it. Okay, we got merch up. All bark, no, oh, there you go. All bark, no bite, 27-24, there you go. All right, we got merch up.
All right.
There you go,
Go buy 'em.
next round store.
For some reason, I love the white.
Do you like the white better than the
Yeah.
crimson?
No, not better.
Yeah,
I'd say buy both.
yeah.
Do you have a special if you get a 2-pack?
I don't know. Get one of each, one
Yeah.
crimson, one white. So there you go. Oh, look, there's a black and a gray too. I think I'm gonna like the gray the best right there. Now that I look at it,
Let's see the gray.
I don't know if Lunsford can pull the gray up there.
No, if
could
Lunsford was good, if I
Oh,
stood like
wow,
this,
if Lunsford was good.
he'd put it on me right now. He'd
Right,
put one
you
of
make
the
it look
shirts
like
on
you're
me.
wearing it if you
Yeah.
just stood still.
If I wasn't 5'10",
Yeah.
I'd have enough body to put it on me right
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Good job, Lunsford.
You can scan the QR code right there, and get those. It is so hard when it's reversed, isn't it?
I did pretty good
Yes,
there.
you did very well. Scan the QR code right there, and you can get the All Bark No Bite shirt, nextround.store, nextround.store if you want to get those and celebrate Alabama's 27-24 SEC championship win. But back to what we were talking about. Nick Saban's best work. If you could go back, and you can do this, and find our show. Oh, there you go.
Hold on.
Stand up, Jim. You gotta go.
Do I need to back up? Nope.
No,
Goodness
no.
gracious.
You got to be just a little bit taller.
Gosh darn it.
If you go back and find
See if
the
you can do
show,
it, see if you can do it.
if I can do it. Oh,
Oh, he took it down. I think it was going to work on him.
was it?
Yeah.
If
Good job,
if
Lunsford.
you go back and watch the show after the South Florida game, it's just it's not gonna
You're
work.
too thick.
Yep, I am. Thanks. If you go back and watch the show after the South Florida game and what some of the opinions of Alabama were versus what you see now, and listen, the players are open about that. They know they've improved. I think that's kind of what gets lost here is Alabama improved. They improved a lot. That's why we talk about this being maybe Nick Saban's best work in his time at Alabama.
Yes, I do think it is. If Alabama's left out, right, I think part of it will be took the miracle play at the end to beat Auburn,
Right.
Jordan Hare, 24-21 against a really bad Arkansas team that seemed to get worse after the Alabama loss, the Texas loss, obviously, and that USF game. If you bring the whole season into
Yeah.
it, those things will stick out a little bit.
Yep.
But I've always thought the committee looks at who you beat more than who you lost to or who
Right.
you barely beat. The
Yeah.
quality wins seem to matter for this committee.
Yeah.
I think it's a better looking shot now.
Yeah, once they lowered the light, I don't know. It's like the department store when they start flashing the lights in the old days. Bob says J. Mills struggled today and still won.
Oh, I didn't think he struggled at all.
Well, I would say struggled in comparison to his normal numbers. His numbers were not what they were, and he was a little off early
Guys,
passing.
you were playing the Georgia defense.
Yeah.
My God, what are you guys expecting?
Did y'all send Taylor y'all's clips running the post interviews?
I've already sent them to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and I've already posted them.
Okay, Isaiah's on YouTube.
No, on YouTube.
YouTube, you
She's
do
doing
YouTube.
those. I sent her all mine.
You're all good.
Yeah, that's Emily Grace down here,
Yeah, stand there.
live with the audience
Yeah,
here.
down on the ground working. Yep.
They're not going to see you. You're going to have to stand up.
No, yeah, they got you.
Stand up.
They
stand
got
up.
you.
There we go.
There's EG.
TiVo.
Oh, she met Tim Tebow. She's fired up about that. Chris says total team effort was dominating. I agree. I'll tell you what. I would like to know. Do you see those political when they have the debates and it's like the favorability of this candidate versus the favorability of this candidate?
Right.
I'd like to see Alabama fans' feelings when Georgia went right down the field on that first possession.
Oh.
And then maybe even after Alabama had to punt on the very next possession, like Bama 3 and out, Georgia right down the field, Bama punts. I would imagine it was close to 0% right there.
My notes are in my bag over there, but I will tell you, I think it was 4 consecutive drives after that Alabama stopped them without scoring.
Yep.
3 to end the half, and then 1 to start the second half.
Yeah.
And that's some monster defensive effort there.
Yeah.
You know, that is monster defensive effort.
Do you want to? Oh, so here's Daniel. Not great, Brown. LOL. Yeah, I don't think most people feel great. Boy, that's moving.
What do you
pretty
mean, not
quick
great
there.
about what?
How they felt after that.
Oh,
right
no,
there.
not great. I was going to ask if you want to beat the crowd and drive on back to Birmingham.
Frank says Milroe games are not pretty works of art, but they sure are beautiful. I tell you what, right there, and I know. Here's something that's interesting. So you guys are talking about the controversial maybe Isaiah Bond catch at the end of the first half. That video was not replayed here in the stadium, so there was really no reaction in the stadium. I have no idea what CBS said about it. I saw a video of it at halftime. Apparently, from what I can gather, coming out of the second half, CBS showed it and maybe talked about it should have been at least reviewed. So I don't know where that stands.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the throw itself was a phenomenal throw.
Yeah.
So
was the effort. I mean,
Bond made a great effort.
yeah, because to recreate it here in our field,
Yeah.
you had, like he throws it where Brown is,
Right. Yeah.
and he has to close a lot of gap and slide
Yep.
and make the catch. I mean, the
Yeah.
closing's because he threw him open.
Yeah, he threw him open. So our vantage point is right up here, is the press box, and that catch was in that end zone. So you can see the angle we saw. Basically, we're looking right down the throw, and you can just see how Milroe throws it to a spot on the field.
That's right. He threw it to an open space.
He threw it to an open space and let his receiver go make a play. And then the touchdown pass he threw right after that to Burton, that was back-to-back tremendous throws right there by him.
And Milroe's got that in him, man.
Yeah, he
He's got
does.
that in him.
Well, I tell you what he's got in him that he has shown time and time
Are
again.
you going to say dog? He's got a little
He got a little
in him.
dog in him, but he can miss 4 straight bad throws and then make 2 NFL throws.
That's right.
That's what's crazy
He
about
flushes
him.
it really quick.
He really
mentally,
does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
Flush it very quickly. All right, so one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick. I was going to try to get some comments in here, though. Richard, if playoff committee leaves Bama out regardless of what happens tonight, Bama should just turn down the invite to a bowl game, I guess.
No, as I told Brown, I said, hell, just claim it a national championship.
That's right. They've claimed it with worse teams.
Yeah.
Paul says, is Bond becoming the most dominant Bama receiver of the past? Becoming the dominant receiver, like Bama receivers of the past. I got you.
I mean, Bond is, you talk about him, you love him.
I love him. I
Yeah.
think he's got, and I'm trying to decide if I think this because he wears number 17, but I think he's got a little Jalen Waddle in him. I see a little Jalen Waddle in Bond. And maybe it's because he wears number 17.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, he's been fantastic. But let's don't lose the effort, or forget the effort that Jermaine Burton made.
Yeah.
At times this year, but at times tonight. How many? Did he have 2 touchdowns? Or one
Well, he dropped the one right here
Dropped the
behind
one
you.
here,
I
yeah.
mean, that ball was in his hands. And look, I mean, the defender got there too, but well, you catch that one at that point.
You can imagine the emotions, and he runs hot always anyway, that he
Yeah.
was playing with tonight, and to have the game that he had, and Trev Marshall as well, who used to play at Georgia, to have the game he had. I feel good for those guys. Hey, hats off to Jam Miller too and Roy Dell.
Yeah.
No Jace McClellan, but did anybody really notice that Jace wasn't out there? No, because Roydell in maybe his first start ever goes out there and performs really well. And I thought Jam Miller, pass blocking, which I've talked
You've
about
always
since
talked
his
about that.
first
He was
day.
really good, yeah.
But he caught a pass out of the
Yep.
backfield, was really smooth doing that, gets around the edge. I said it all week. I want to see more Jam. I want to see more Jam. Let that guy hunt.
Yeah, he played very well.
Or eat. Whatever the kids are saying.
Yeah, hunt, eat, whatever you're doing. I was just checking the scores here. Still no score. Florida State is up to 33 total yards, though, and they now have 4 first downs, so they must put a drive together. Michigan up 10-0 on Iowa. So here's the point I want to make. Think about this. Now, Alabama could have still potentially run the clock out, but Alabama scores on that Bond play they thought, goes to review, and they rule he's not in the end zone. They run the QB sneak. They don't get in. Then they hand it off to Roydell Williams and get in. 2 plays right there. That burned up an extra minute of game time.
Just like the goal line stand.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That they took 3 plays to get onto the goal line stand on this end zone right behind you,
Yeah.
which burned up another minute. That's 2
Hey,
minutes of game time.
And that ball at first, I mean, it was placed down right here.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's
It
where they
was-
started.
That's all they had to go.
Yeah.
And it was The nose of the ball was almost on the line.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just
and
a fight to get it in.
And,
on fourth
and
down.
that forced Kirby, by the way, to use a timeout right there because they still couldn't get into the end zone. Those little things are massive. You know, little things like that are just massive.
Daniel Moore doesn't paint those.
He doesn't paint those kinds of things, but those are massive things that you burn up a minute there, you burn up a minute here. That's 2 minutes of game time and a timeout. You know, Alabama can't run the clock out after that Milroe run if you've got that other timeout and those 2 more minutes. Alabama's still got to get another first down to end the game.
Yeah,
so
maybe 2.
Yeah, it's just little, you know, the small things like that that add up. So Samuel says your boy John Summerall was trending. We saw that video in the press box. I was showing them. He did not like to get back, coach, to get him back, did he?
He did not.
Did they end up winning? Yeah, 49-23. 49-23 Troy wins. EG's happy about that because App State's the big rival for Georgia Southern.
Yeah. No trophy for App State, thanks to the Troy Trojans.
Another
one for Troy.
Richard says, will anybody ever break the Reichard record? I don't think so. I think that one stands forever.
No, I think they will.
What player will do it? Not name, but what position? Because here's why I think it lasts forever. He got, 5 years of eligibility. Now, he really only played 4 in 4 games. He played 4 games his freshman year, which oddly enough, I think one of those games was a punt against Tennessee. A punt against Tennessee.
That's the year he got hurt, right?
I guess.
I think it was on a punt or a kick where he pulled something and never was back in.
And I think that was the only play he had in that game. Had he not had that play, he would have another year of eligibility. So he could set the record way down where nobody could get it. I don't think anybody will break it because I think if anybody's scoring those kinds of points, if you look at the people he passed, Keenan Reynolds was a triple option quarterback. I don't even know if anybody's running the triple option right now.
Right.
The service academies, a lot of them have gone away from it or are going away from it. So that's one thing. And number 2, if a player is good enough to score that many points, he's going to be in the NFL after 3 years. He doesn't come back for that 4th year.
I think you almost have to look at somebody who is hot, scoring a lot of points that still is going to get that COVID year. That's going to be the factor is hopefully we never have another pandemic and hopefully
I hope
we don't have bonus years like some of these players have had to set the record. But if it stands forever, it stands forever, and that's fantastic.
Yep. We officially have points. Florida State did score. It's 3-0, so they put a drive together. Florida State scored. All right. Anything else you want to add there? I don't know what more we can say.
I just want to say that I appreciate all of you people who are watching and listening to us and do that on a week in and week out basis. I'd like to thank Emily Grace for her effort today and her support. Ryan Brown was really good.
Thank you, Jim. It's always my honor.
John Lunsford back there behind the scenes on this. John, thank you very much.
Little T putting all the stuff.
I was getting to her.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who's doing all of that.
Did you see her Theo Vaughn shout out? It made her day.
I saw that you got for her
and
sent that out.
It was a team effort.
No, it was not. It was all you. And you will reign supreme in her eyes forever.
Yeah.
To Scott Forster, who's been kicking out post game from Nick Saban at the podium all night long. Thank you guys, and to everyone else that works up there. Just it's been an amazing week.
Yep. All right, we got some sponsors here that have brought you all the coverage from Atlanta. I'm going to let Dunaway hit them.
All right. How about let's start this side this time.
Right.
We'll go
Southern Rubber.
Southern Rubber right here. Southern Rubber Tire. Southern Rubber Tire. SouthernRubberTire.com. Hey, look, if you're looking for people you trust, all the name brand tires, but also automotive needs, right there downtown Birmingham. Wayne's right there. Wayne's been with us all since we started.
Yep.
Right? So we love Wayne's. 50 years for them. They will keep the pests out of your house, much like Alabama may have kept Georgia out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yep. Call Waynes.com, call Waynes.com. And then there's Roback. Roback.com. Is this Kirk Herbstreit's dog? I don't know, but it's on my shirt.
Could be.
And it's on the shirt I have under this, and it's on my pants too.
Wow.
Roback.com, Roback.com. If they made sneakers, I'd have them on too. Use the promo code TNR20 and go ahead and load up for Christmas. Get 20% off, and you help us out. So thank you, Roback, thank you, Wayne's, and thank you, Southern Rubber Tire.
Yep, and go get those shirts. Nextround.store. Nextround.store is where you get those shirts. Boy, it is going to own me. I cannot get that reverse right. All right, 27-24. If you can see the scoreboard behind us, that's the final. Alabama beats Georgia, Crimson Tide yet again.
And definitely, it looks like this Grand Ole Stadium is once again crimson.
Yeah, Nick Saban continues to own Kirby Smart, to own the city of Atlanta. And the Alabama Crimson Tide wins another SEC championship. We'll see about the playoffs. We have discussed Set your alerts. We've discussed doing a.
Oh, we're doing this, aren't we?
All right, we're doing a viewing party tomorrow,
11 a.m.
11 a.m. So here's
Probably
what we'll do.
10:55. We'll start a little
Well,
early.
I don't think they're going to announce till 11:15. I saw, so we may just start at 11.
Okay,
Yeah.
start at 11.
Yeah.
Let's pretend we're doing this on the fly.
Yep.
11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow.
So you can watch it with us. We'll comment while we're watching it.
That's right. That's right.
And then we'll get your thoughts afterwards. We'll
right.
we'll get your thoughts on everything.
Yeah, so what I would say is, watch it on your TV. If you got two, put us on one.
Yep.
Or pull up your iPad or your phone with us on our it's a video platform only. But it'll be tomorrow, and we're going to be in our studio.
That's right.
We're going to be sitting down in a casual format, and we're going to react to the rankings.
Yep. In real time, we'll react as they unveil them, and you can jump in there too.
And then we'll let you guys bitch about the results
Yep.
or celebrate about the results right here with us, much like this.
Yep. Yep. So set your alerts. Give us a thumbs up, please. Share all of this. We greatly appreciate it. Thank all of you. Thank all the sponsors. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 o'clock. EG working on her package, so you can see some reaction from the game coming out on our social media and also on YouTube. All right. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the games. 27-24, your final score. Alabama, the SEC champs.